Hello and welcome to our BBC School Report. Today we are looking at a variety of different news stories ranging from global issues right the way down to local stories. Our top story today is brought to you by Matilda and Miranda.
George Mario Bergoglio, or now formerly known as Pope Francis, has been elected as the 266th Pope on the 13th of May 2013 as the former Pope Joseph Ratzinger stepped down. The newly elected Pope from Buenos Aires has had many people criticise him as being chosen for this monumental position in the Church. Pope Francis wasn't a forerunner for the position, but the decision was made quite quickly that he would be filling the role. He is well known in his country for his work with the poor and unfortunate. Pope Francis lives a humble life in a village in Buenos Aires as he gets public transport to and from work. Pope Francis supposedly chose the name Francis as a way to symbolise the need for the Church to be of the poor and for the poor. We decided to ask some of the teachers of Hastings High School for their view on the new Pope.
A humanities teacher, Miss Everett, told us that Pope Francis is not too old. The people in Europe have different views on the elderly and possibly see him as past it, compared to in Asia where they would have celebrated him for his wisdom. She thinks that the Pope will not step down and will carry on until he dies. She also says that it is okay that Pope Benedict stepped down because he was in ill health and wasn't capable of the responsibilities surrounding his former status. Considering the candidates, she believes that the Pope elected should have been black. Our head teacher, Mr. Goforth, said that he was not too old and excels in experience and credibility, opposing another member of staff's view, whom he says is too frail and old to be coping with all the travelling. Mr. Goforth thinks that it was wrong for Pope Benedict to step down, as the Pope is meant to be God's chosen one and cannot go against the will of God.
What do you think? Will he step down or live on to fulfil his duties as Pope?
And now to a local story of a former Hastings High School student. Here is Emily and Ellie with the details.
This is the BBC News School Report. 18-year-old Taylor Blair was landed a Sapphire record deal recently. After the release of her first single, Play, she is set to hit the UK charts. As a former student of Hastings High School, we decided to ask some of our old teachers what they thought of her newfound success and about her time as a pupil of the school.
Were you a teacher to Taylor, or did you just know her around school?
Well, I was partly her form tutor and obviously I taught her art.
Okay. Mrs. Thorne, another teacher, said she was lively, confident and a good student who likes people to know she's there. Would you agree with that?
I do agree with it. I think she could be very sensitive and she did have quite a vulnerable side to her and she was also quite independent.
Did you expect her to be where she is now?
Well, I always knew she was interested in the performing arts, so maybe something in that line would be, sort of figures really, doesn't it?
Monopoly is predicted to do just as well as Play, if not better. Now over to our entertainment reporters who will be sharing the story on David Bowie.
Hello.
And welcome to Entertainment News with Eden D.
Ben Miles.
And Jamie Forsyth.
David Bowie has made a comeback.
That's right, music legend David Bowie is at the top of the music charts once again here in England.
And in 40 other countries. His new exhibition has broken records.
And in total he sold 47,000 tickets for a single show.
Childhood photos,
band memories,
and insights to his new album will be featured in this exhibition.
66 years of Bowie.
All in one place.
From new content like the single Where Are We to classic songs such as Ziggy Stardust.
The show has had great reviews and the critics gave it a 9 out of 10.
In other news, best-selling author James Herbert has died peacefully in his own home at the age of 69. His classic novel, The Rats, was translated into 34 languages and sold over 54 million copies worldwide. The doctors say he died of natural causes. Now back to the team.
Over to our sports correspondent for today's top sports stories.
Hello and welcome to today's top sport headlines.
Football is about to fall apart is a quote recently stated by one of the top Sky News presenters.
Suggestions have been to alter the World Cup to the winter months. However, this will collide and cause conflict with European competitions.
Holding the World Cup in a desert in the middle of summer is surely going to be a challenge, with the temperature rarely dropping below 37 degrees Celsius. Players are definitely going to find it a struggle.
After Qatar won the bid in 2012 to host the 2022 World Cup, being the first Middle Eastern nation to do so, concerns have recently been arisen about playability due to the extreme climate.
The dilemma is clearly on FIFA's hands.
And now on to England's Euro qualifier tomorrow night against San Marino.
It's looking like Joe Wright is going to have some tight competition.
After returning from a serious groin injury, Ben Foster is set to, for an international football match. It looks like he could possibly take the place of Joe Hart.
Joe Hart recently has not been at his full potential that he's previously shown in the first half of this current season.
However, Ben Foster has been performing to the top of his ability in recent weeks with his club, West Brom.
Roy Hodgson, England's manager, has had a tough decision on which keeper he plays in goal for the World Cup qualifiers versus San Marino.
Keep an eye out for any news from Roy Hodgson regarding the decision coming out.
Spurs superstar and one of the greatest footballers in the world. However, he's not just known for his football talent. He is known for one of the best divers in football, like Luis Suarez and Cristiano Ronaldo. This is shown a bad example on youth football. We'll be interviewing some of the youth football from Hastings High School. Hi guys. So what's your names?
I'm Sam.
Dave. So what do you think about this matter?
I think, it's just a disgrace to football. Absolute disgrace. Some people take it way too far. I know diving's banned, but some people why do people do it anyway? Someone does it here.
You see, I think Gareth Bale is a top-class player, he's got quality, but I think that because he dives, it ruins his skill. He doesn't need to when he's got all that skill, and I think that a lot of people think it's acceptable now, and it just ruins the game.
So what do you think? Should they get booked?
Well, obviously, if it is a clean dive, you can tell, but I think we need to get force. If we get extra people at goal line technology and things, we're going to see more of the pitch. We're going to tell whether they're diving or not.
And now we're going to go to Yash with the local weather for the next 24 hours.
Today is looking miserable, staying at a constant 3 degrees Celsius throughout the whole of Hinckley and Burbage. With rain at 5 p.m. this evening through to Friday morning at 4 a.m. The wind is strong, going in a northwesterly direction at highs of 14 to 15 miles per hour. This means it is going to feel extremely cold, so wrap up, maybe with some gloves and scarves. Thank you. Back to the studio.
This is Amelia. And this is Sophie, reporting for the BBC School Report. Thank you for watching.